we call the Twilight Zone.
See it occur, and you look at Steph and Clay, and even Draymond with his lack of performance.
He's in 2 in a row, 7 points for him. The twirling Doncic, melting into the defense. The front carry strikes. Swing, fly ball, well hit left center. Robert Acuna has homer. Rookie rushing record for the Steelers.
Look, he came into this game averaging 3.67 yards per carry. 42nd out of 49 qualified rushers.
Freeze to begin the third quarter. It has been incredible. Here he comes again. Oh, goodness. And the Greek basketball god. And he was a great guy that teaches the
Rally Tau fam. What is going on tonight, everybody? Welcome to the show. Tonight, I'm joined with Todd and Aaron. Hello, boys.
What's going on? Man, Tiger Woods always just jacks me up.
Doesn't it, though? Just Sorry, I got to come over here.
It's the Sunday Reds, man.
Absolutely. Todd, first of all, excellent show last night.
Thank you.
For those of you that missed it, it was quite. Can you kind of just tell us? You obviously had some time to think about it now, ponder on it. Just kind of tell us what that was like.
Oh man, I think the biggest takeaway that I had from that is that Ben had incredible humility based on his experience through life. Right, to be a top tier recruit in the whole entire United States, and I went back and looked on it. He was the number one tight end in the country coming out of high school. And then he was the number 2 tight end on the big board going into the NFL draft. So quite the accolades around his name. It was really cool to get a perspective that I've never really had the opportunity to see before. I mean, it's not very often you get to ask a professional athlete, what's it like to be a professional athlete?
Right.
Like you just don't get that chance to just sit down with somebody and ask them those questions. But I really appreciated the respect that he showed Corey and I both, and the time that he took to let us ask questions and just act like he's a part of Rally Tau Sports. It was really, really cool. I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
I think that was like the coolest thing. Like when I popped in and was watching, was that he just looked like one of the boys. And he was there the whole time. And for him to give up that amount of time, I know he was a busy dude. That was freaking awesome. It was just, you guys kept your composure very well.
Thank you.
You guys handled it very professionally, so I just wanted to throw that out there. Well, tonight I know that Aaron has been super excited to start it off with a little bit of who the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So without further ado, Aaron, let it rip.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second here. I didn't have it pulled up. Todd, if you're ready, I apologize. I'm absolutely slacking here.
I can make the first go at it.
Yeah, please.
Do it.
All right. So this former Zag is known for a beautiful mustache and a beautiful head of hair.
Adam Morrison.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. That's all.
That's
it took.
too easy.
I was gonna say he didn't get to sustain his NBA career.
As soon as you said stash, it was
diabetes.
Yeah, that was over.
Yeah.
All righty.
Sorry, the good throwback though. That dude absolutely lit it up at Gonzaga. The NCAA, nobody could guard that man. That dude was just making it rain from everywhere.
No, he was the player of the year.
Yeah, he was insane.
And was
one of the better college
pick.
basketball players. Yeah.
Yeah, ever. If you look at him statistically, he's in the top 20 in a lot of categories.
This if it's not any shockers to what I have in this cup here. Delicious. Go grab yourself an Oktoberfest, chat.
All right. So we're going to start out here with a former first-round pick of the Atlanta Hawks. He was drafted 5th overall out of Duke, 2006. He played 6 career years, totaling across 7 different NBA teams across 6 years.
Sheldon Williams.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Great guess.
AKA a Simpsons character built into real life. That dude has he has the real life Homer Simpson head.
Yes.
Also,
100%.
I think somehow married to Candace Parker at one point. Which is true
Really?
story. Yeah.
Wow. She's
2008 to 2016.
She's out of your league, bro. Good for him.
Way
Mary
up.
the stream. That's my babe.
What up, Murmur?
Love it.
Absolutely. Todd, do you have another one on deck?
I do.
All right. Hear it.
All right. Former Kentucky Wildcat, former national champion, 1996 Kentucky Wildcat. Drafted by the Celtics in 1997. Spent some time in Denver, Chicago, Orlando. Nope. Indiana, San Antonio, and New Jersey. Was at one point in time in the NBA, he was a 20-point a night kind of guy. He played a really he played kind of like the hybrid role that was not ready in the NBA yet. And
I may be off. I don't know where this guy went to college. It's not Antoine Walker, is it?
It is not Antoine Walker, but he was reunited with Antoine Walker in Boston.
Okay.
They won a national, or I'm sorry, he won a
Where
national.
Where did Antoine Walker go to college?
He went to Kentucky.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what year was he drafted? I'm sorry.
1996. Oh, I'm sorry, 1997. 1997, 98 was his first year. First team, all rookie. He went from Chicago to Indiana. Bruce and all of his brands liking the stream. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Bruce always rolling deep.
Why is this one so hard for me?
Of course, it's a UK player.
He has also been accused of sexual assault. If that helps you, either of you at all.
Unfortunately, that's a lot of professional athletes.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Let's see. Kentucky.
90s Kentucky. Late 90s Kentucky.
Bulls, Pacers, Celtics.
What number did he wear?
Oh, that's a really good question. I believe when he was at Kentucky, he was number 7. Or no, he was number 3 because Antoine Walker was number 7.
Eddie House?
No. Light skin. Grew a decent beard. Rob liking the stream. What's up, Rob? I'm talking about
Rob.
I'm out.
Rob,
I don't know.
Former Chicago Bull of the mid-2000s. Was from the University of Kentucky. Was traded to the Pacers, and in return, the Bulls got Jalen Rose. Do you remember who that is? They were the 2 centerpieces of the trade.
So this is we would know this guy when you say his name.
When I say his name, you guys are going to both be like, "Oh,
I know,
shit."
I'm going to be upset. I think I'm tapping.
Okay, Bobby.
So you said he played. Where did he spend his best time? Like, where did he play his best basketball in his NBA career?
So he had some really good years. So his rookie year with Boston was good. He was a first-team All-Rookie. He had some good years. He had 2 good years with the Bulls, and the latter half of his third year with the Bulls, he was traded to the Pacers, and he also became the second leading scorer on the Pacers, of course, behind Reggie Miller.
Who did he finish with?
The Nets.
I have no idea. I don't know why this one's so hard.
When was his last year in the NBA?
2000.
Late 2000s.
Hold on. I'm going to.
Sorry, I have lots. I think I'm like, it's right there. It's right there.
2005 was his last year.
Mid 2000s. Okay. So he was there with like Jason Kidd and all them. Man. It's not.
He was number 5, not number 3.
It's not Lucius Harris, is it?
No, he did not go to Kentucky. You guys stumped?
I'm stumped.
I'm tapped.
It's Ron Mercer.
Ron Mercer.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
if for anybody that played NBA Live, Ron Mercer with the Chicago Bulls was like one of the best scorers because they gave him Michael Jordan's shot in NBA Live. It was automatic all over the floor.
wow. Yeah, I had nothing there.
That's
I was completely thrown off. That's a good one.
Anytime I can bring a Wildcat into this, I'm going to take full advantage.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Ready.
This player was drafted in 2003, 23rd overall by the Portland Trail Blazers. He foregoed college, coming out of Starkville, Mississippi. It's a small forward, but in this day and age, he would kind of slide over as a power forward as well.
So he came out of high school?
Came out of high school. His best years, without a doubt, is his time that he spent in Portland, where he spent, 6 years. But he also played for the Clippers, the Nets, and the Kings for the last 3 years before he retired.
Oh, is he bald? Is he bald-headed?
He is bald-headed.
It's shit. He has a oh fuck.
Wait,
Okay.
I'm sorry. What year was it? You said 2003?
2003.
Did not go to college.
Did not go to college.
But was a late first round pick, 2003.
It's not.
So my first thought was Boris Diaw, but he did not go. He wasn't on Portland. He was on the Hawks.
Yeah, it is not Boris Diaw.
Oh shit. Travis Outlaw.
It is Travis Outlaw.
Wow.
Let's go.
He was always one of my favorite guys to play with in 2K on that Portland Trailblazers team with like Brandon Roy.
Yeah.
And, what was his name? Rudy Fernandez.
Rudy Fernandez, yes.
And a healthy Greg Oden. LaMarcus Aldridge.
Brandon Roy to me is the one guy that I think that he could have been like top 10 in scoring if he wouldn't have gotten hurt so much. He was unbelievable. He was a walking basketball clinic. He did everything well.
Yeah.
Good defender, scored from anywhere, handled the ball well.
Solid
Great teammate.
Yeah.
Bruce, did he die?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Look, Rob coming in here. Nice one. Thanks, Rob. Here's the thing. I've said this on this podcast before, and I'll say it again. Well, the rest of you guys were out hanging out with your friends and socializing and doing the normal stuff. I was just looking at basketball cards and just figuring out where guys went to college and then playing NBA Live and trying to create teams based off of where they went to college. That was what my and then going to whatever sporting practice or event that I had. That was most of my life.
All right, well, let me try one of these. Who the fuck it is?
Let's hear it. Bobby's first. Who the fuck it is?
All right. The year was 2007. The draft pick was number 11. This.
Oh, he rhymed.
Yes.
I thought he was going to get it off of that, and I was going to be so pissed.
Dude, that's why I was like, dude, are you fucking kidding me right now? Texas A&M, drafted by the
AC Law. Yep, it's AC Law.
Okay,
let's go.
Get him on the board, yes.
Another incredible college.
Excuse me, AC Law.
I loved like that tournament that he played. Oh my god, he was unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable. That he was a human highlight reel for Texas A&M. He was Texas A&M. Good one. That's a great one. That's a great name drop there.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you guys tonight. I thought I was gonna be able to bring Luke Ridnour into this conversation tonight, but I didn't know how I was gonna make him guess, because it would be like white guard from Oregon, Luke Ridnour. Everybody knows it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I might have said Luke Jackson.
All right. Well, since we got that one so quick, I'm going to scroll down this 2007 first round list and give you another one.
Okay.
The 26th pick in that draft, drafted by Houston. He played college at the University of Oregon.
Aaron Brooks.
Yeah. Too easy.
Nice.
I need
That's
to go
good.
back further.
Yeah, these are right in the wheelhouse. You're just throwing softballs over the middle of the plate.
Who was the
Well,
first round pick in the 2007 draft?
The first overall pick?
First overall pick, 2007.
Yeah,
Greg Oden.
It's Greg Oden, and then it's Kevin Durant, and then it's Al Horford, right? That's 1 through 3.
Yeah, keep going.
Conley,
Yep.
Jeff Green.
This is unbelievable.
Corey Brewer.
Nope.
No, so Corey Brewer was top 10 though. He might.
Corey Brewer was 7. You're missing the one before Corey Brewer.
Joakim Noah.
Nope.
No.
Oh, it's the international guy. Center Yi.
Yi Jingling.
Yi Jinlin. Thank you. I almost called him Yi Zhao
Bucks?
Zhao. I don't know
You
who
guys
Zhao
are
Zhao is.
you guys are absolute animals, dude. Number 8.
Brendan Wright.
Okay, 9.
Joakim.
That's
Yep.
Joakim.
10.
And then number 10 would be Spencer Hawes.
I'm fucking done, dude.
Dude, we did it, Todd.
That's
Former-
insane.
Former Husky Spencer Hawes.
How do you guys just fucking know that?
Who the fuck it is? I am. I'm just kidding.
I can't stress this enough.
That's
I
incredible,
didn't do
dude.
I didn't socialize outside of even by then in 2007. I was only doing baseball stuff then, right? Like that my whole life revolved around baseball and taking care of myself. So
That I'm honestly fucking impressed.
and
That's
also my parents
unbelievable.
our home computer was downstairs. Everybody would go up to bed. I go downstairs. Mom, if you're listening, cover your ears. Porn, NBA
Porn.
stuff. Porn, NBA stuff.
That was
night.
pretty incredible. I'm pretty proud of that. And
Yeah, you should be. That was fucking impressive.
although I did go outside, I don't know where I'm getting this from.
have
'Cause, like,
y'all
I didn't
ever
do
seen
cards.
the sun?
I think it's from I would always play basketball video games. I think that's where.
Yeah.
That's a
think
big
that's where
part
I-
of it.
Yeah.
Because every game release, there's usually the rookie team, right? They put together the all-star teams and then they do the rookie team.
Yeah.
Bruce coming in here, 1992 draft pick number 17 by the Sonics. Is that Gary
Kemp?
Payton?
That was the
well,
first thing I thought of, but I think Gary was the 80s, right?
I said
Late
Kemp.
80s?
Maybe. Sean Kemp, the second best player from the state of Indiana in high school basketball, or maybe third. I don't know. Is Greg Oden in the top 5 in Indiana high school of all time? Because
Oh yeah.
yeah, right. Like he put up some crazy numbers when he was in high school. That team with him and Mike Conley and Josh McRoberts.
Did Anthony Hardaway get drafted by the
Played for the
Sonics?
Kings and the Lakers. 17.
Eddie Jones?
Peja Stojakovic? No, he didn't play.
No, that's
He didn't
way
play
too
for-
early.
he didn't
That's
play
way
for-
too early. Peja probably got drafted.
Vlade Divac? No, he didn't get drafted by the Sonics.
He could have. Well, no, he got drafted by the Hornets.
Yeah.
I think because Vlade Divac was a
Divac
part
spent the end of his career.
or no, Divac was on the Lakers and then traded to the Hornets because that's how the Lakers got Kobe.
Okay. I
Played for the Kings and the Lakers.
okay. Bruce, I'm going to ask you this. Would you mostly know him from his time with the Kings? Because I think I know who it might be, and I think it's one that we've done before, Todd. I think it's Sir Douglas Christie.
Did he play for the Lakers?
Yeah, he did after for a little bit.
Doug
I don't
Christie
remember him on this. I don't remember him on the Sonics though. I'm just taking B and C and trying to make it work with A.
I believe that was the.
Oh, let's
time.
go!
Whoa!
Wow.
Carp liking the stream. Carp, you just missed
What
a
a
Doug
guess.
Christie guess by Aaron. Aaron, give yourself a pat on the back, sir.
I
The
don't.
block is hot.
I don't miss out on
Block is
Doug
hot,
Christie
ladies and
trivia.
gentlemen. Let's go. Caroline liking the stream. What up, Caroline?
92 sounded too
Caroline.
early. 92
That's
sounded too early,
insane,
but
dude.
That was dope.
That's crazy.
You should make sure before you go to bed, tell Mary how good you did this.
I will, and she won't care.
Just whisper in her ear. Who the fuck it is mine.
Bruce said
Rick
favorite
Fox.
player ever. He punched Rick Fox.
Rick Fox, the most handsome man to ever play.
Rick Fox, also known as Sweet Feet and Holes.
Oh my God.
Dig him up. Oh. All right.
Great.
Great. Love it. We're
going off the rails early.
It's getting out of control. Bobby, what are we here for tonight?
Tonight, we are here for the NFC over-under preview of games 1 this season. We've got all 4 divisions broken down. I'm going to put pen to paper here. We're gonna put it in ink. Preseason predictions on what is actually going to happen.
So it's forever. If it's
forever.
It's forever, right?
It's forever. So we are going to start with the NFC North. We're going to north, south, east, west. First team on the block, the Chicago Bears. Rob, this one's for you. The Bears are slated at 6.5 games. That is the line. Aaron, over under.
Oh, this is just the easiest bet, and Vegas agrees with me. It's the under. It actually has the worst juice for all of the over-unders across the AFC and the NFC. Plus 150 to hit the over, plus 190, or I'm sorry, minus 190.
Minus 190.
To cash in on the under. So that means Vegas is getting heavy bets on the under, but are also pretty confident in the number that they laid out. So is 6 the number? Is 7 the number? I wouldn't be surprised to see this touch 6 before the season starts, just to try to get the push. But no, that's easy for me. I mean, the Bears really didn't do enough this offseason to, obviously shore up that offensive line. I really like Justin Fields a lot, but I just don't think they have enough there. Not to mention, I think they're probably the worst team in that division. Maybe the Lions, obviously, right there as well. But the juice is right there in the squeeze. The minus 190 is just telling you the under is obviously the play there.
Yeah, I think for me, you look at a guy like Justin Fields, right? You move to get him. You see this huge upside that he had through Ohio State. Incredible arm. Honestly, one of the top poised quarterbacks in college football when he was at Ohio State. The dude never lost his cool. And he gets to Chicago, and unfortunately, my first game of watching Justin Fields was them beating the Bengals early on last year. But you saw a guy who had such great pocket presence at Ohio State have to scramble all over the field, and I think that's where. And Aaron's right. They didn't do anything to make the offensive line better. And in fact, I believe that they have kind of gone backwards in terms of talent development. When an outside linebacker is your top defensive talent in today's game, you're struggling as a team as a whole. That's not your bread and butter on defense anymore. I think the best thing that Chicago has is the two-headed monster in the backfield with Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery, and that's kind of it. That's what you have. I think Darnell Mooney is one of those guys that could be a 1,000+ yard receiver, but Justin Fields has to have time to throw to him, and if history repeats itself as it mostly does, he's not going to have time to do so. So I agree with Aaron taking that offense too. Yeah, but he's another guy too. You haven't seen him you haven't got to see him develop really yet. He was at his time in Notre Dame. He's a great route runner. He's an above average blocking tight end. He's ginormous, but that's a hard road for Chicago. I see them as a team that could get a top 5 pick in next year's draft.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, there's not really much else I can add to this. Chicago didn't make enough moves. Love Justin Fields, love the attitude that he brings, but they're kind of one-dimensional with that running game right now, and I don't think the defense is going to be, making any executive stands, throughout the season. I mean, if they stay healthy, that may be their one saving grace. They might be able to get them over that 6.5, but an NFL team staying healthy for 17 weeks.
The problem is the half there, right? Because 6 seems right to me. Like the Bears winning 6 games seems right. 7 seems far too high.
Yeah. I mean, stranger things have happened, but if I was putting money on this, I'm gonna take the under.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and
So we're all on the under. Okay.
We're all on the under there. That's one we're going to agree on. Next on the list, you just mentioned them, the Detroit Lions and Corey's town of Detroit. 6.5 as well as the line.
So reverse the juice here. You got minus 125 on the over, plus 105 on the under here. I thought I would try to make this a little interesting. I was wondering if I could get a little betting juice here, right? So before the podcast, I decided to look up the over-under record of all of the teams post Hard Knocks, and it's 8-1. So there really isn't any help there. But one little betting nugget that I turned out, which I thought was pretty interesting, which just isn't really going to help us with over-under, but still pretty interesting to discuss on the podcast. Teams, the year that they, after being on Hard Knocks, are 93, 79, and 5 against the spread per week. So that's not necessarily going to help you out with the over-under, but you might be able to get some betting money this year just by betting on the Lions against the spread. With that being said, I am also going to take the under here. Again, 6 just seems kind of right to me. And I think because it was split when I looked up what's the record over-under with the Hard Knocks teams. And again, it's not all about that, but that's what the betting public has in their mind right now. You can see it right now. Vegas is favoring the under because everybody is going over because you're watching Dan Campbell scream his head off and be really, really electric on television. Yeah. But it's still Jared Goff at quarterback. And I don't think that team has the chops just yet. I think they're a year away. I think they're on the right track. Todd, we talked about this. I would love to see Campbell get a couple more, at least another year after this regardless. I think he is a good coach. But I'm going to stick with the under again here.
I'm actually going to go over here, and hear me out. I'm a sucker for just a beautiful swan
great
song.
Story.
Detroit is the swan song of the NFL, right?
Yeah,
you have the very charismatic, eccentric, blue collar Dan Campbell. Now you're getting to see them on a big national platform with Hard Knocks. You get to see the coaching staff of, 80 years of training camp experience, right? They bring that up in the first episode of Hard Knocks. Well, I do agree that I think that there's still a couple of parts away from being a car ready to go on the line. It's a little Ford reference for you.
Little Detroit reference.
Little Detroit reference for you guys. I think that this is a team that in the NFC North has the ability to split with everyone and then just kind of make some waves. Because if you guys remember, they were in a lot of games, right? There weren't a lot of games last year where they lost by a lot or by enough where you're like, all right, this game's over. They took a lot of games to the last 2 minutes and sometimes into the last second. So the roster's better. It's not a playoff team, right, by any means. But I could see this team going out and winning 8 games this year. I could also go out and see them go out and win 4. But I'm gonna take the beautiful story and I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah, Todd, I agree with you. You literally said everything that I was going to say. I think Detroit lost a lot of games last year that they probably should have won, but they didn't have the experience or the talent to win those close games when it mattered. And I think Dan Campbell's second year, it may be 7 games. It may be 7 games, but I would bet that they're going to win at least 7 this year. Because how many did they win last year?
They went 3-13-1. So let's even assume for a moment that you guys are right and they flipped the script on a couple of those games. That's 4 more victories that they need to get this year in order to hit the over. That was part of the reason I took the under. I agree with you. I do think that they underperformed last year. But is that 5 or 6 wins? Maybe. If you flip that script. I still just don't think, I think the Vikings and the Packers are much better in that division this year.
I agree.
And again, same thing with the Bears there. both of them sitting at 6.5. I'm not sure which one of those teams finishes in last place, but with my last two picks there, I'm betting on those two to be the bottom two.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. All right. So currently in the NFC North, all three of us have the Bears hitting the under on the 6.5. The Lions, Todd and I have the over at 6.5. Aaron has the under at 6.5. Next team on the board slated to win the highest amount in that division, and that is the Green Bay Packers. Todd, start with you. 11 games is the number. Over under.
Vegas says that people are siding both ways on this. And I think the biggest question mark, and I'm sure you gentlemen agree with me, is who the fuck is Aaron Rodgers going to throw the football to?
Yep.
Who's he going to throw the football to? Right? And we just heard Davante Adams said Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL. Just came out and said it. No slight to Derek Carr. He said that too. But he said Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL. But here's the thing is Aaron Rodgers has to have the right targets to throw the ball to. And if you look at that depth chart, it's a lot of people that aren't going to get picked in fantasy football in the next 2 weeks, right? It's a lot of guys that you're not going to – they're not floating around on your top 10 list. So I have my concerns with what Green Bay is able to do or who's going to be able to take care of Green Bay. So for that, I'm going to take the under on Green Bay, and I'll get to my why when we talk about Minnesota.
So I'm going to take the over here. I think Aaron Rodgers has made great receivers out of mediocre receivers his entire career. He's had good receivers. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, Davante Adams probably being the best one, and losing him certainly is going to be a factor. But what else have we seen this year? All of the stocked teams have gone to the AFC, or all of the players have gone to the AFC. That's where you're going to get beat the hell up all year. I think there is just going to naturally have to be teams in the NFC that rise to the top. I'll take my chances with the guy who's won the MVP the last 2 years. I'll take my chances with, you're right. They don't have the best receiving talent. Lazard is a huge body receiver. I think he's actually being a little bit undervalued at this point. He's a number one receiver now. And he had a pretty good end of his 2021 season as well. And obviously without Davante Adams taking 10 to 12 targets a game, that ball is going to have to go to Lazard. You're talking even Tunyon. And of course, they have two really, really good running backs. I think it's just going to be a different type of offense that you see in Green Bay. I would also take Green Bay to have the highest win total in the NFC as well.
Wow.
From a value standpoint. I'm not necessarily saying that will happen.
Yeah, no, I have to side with Aaron on this one. There's not a lot of teams in the NFC that I would put above the Packers. There are a few, but the Packers, that division, they're obviously the best team in that division, hands down. Even with a very unknown receiving core for the most part for the the rest of the sports world. I think they win at least 11, if not more. So I'm taking the over there as well.
And here's the thing, like you said, Todd, this is a pretty obvious push too. So we could all be right.
Right.
But
that's the beautiful thing about talking over under.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, we can all. Well, it's only when you got a non-half number on the board, which is pretty rare.
Right.
But even odds on both sides with the -110, -110.
Okay. Well, we have another non-half number coming up.
Also, for those curious, we're getting our lines via DraftKings. If you guys want to follow along.
Yep, absolutely. So last team in the North, the Vikings, 9 games. Todd, over under.
So I'm actually going to go over on Minnesota. So I think for me, this is your team that makes the push in the NFC. This is the team that squeaks their way into the NFC Championship. Because if history tells me anything, is that Green Bay just can't get there. Green Bay just can't put the throttle on and get to the next step, right? So I think Justin Jefferson is just now starting to get the credit that he deserves of being a top 5 wide receiver in that conversation. I think that there's a lot of people that would agree with me when I say I think Justin Jefferson is actually a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL at this point in his career. And I also think Dalvin Cook, when healthy, is a top 5 running back in the NFL. And by the way, Kirk Cousins' career stats are not bad. No. Right. Kirk Cousins isn't known as being a really flashy guy. And, he's just kind of lived in this sea of mediocrity through Washington and Minnesota and kind of the gauge the middle tier of success. But I don't think he was really provided the right coaching with Zimmer. Right. I mean, there's proof to that. Zimmer was pretty vocal towards the end of his time about not trusting Kirk Cousins and not allowing him to make the decisions or put the ball in Cousins' hands to decide the fate of the Vikings. And I think that this year you're going to see him live up to the statistics and exceed them. So with that being said, I'm taking over, and they're my sleeper of the NFC.
All right, fair enough.
Todd, I fully agree. I'm taking the over as well. I think getting rid of Zimmer is actually the addition by subtraction. I think that this offense really needed. Justin Jefferson, like you said, whether he's a top 5, top 3, people will argue he's the best receiver in the league, and I wouldn't think they're wrong. I think there's arguments to be made about a lot of these top 5 guys, but I think he's squarely in that top 5, but I agree with you that he's in the top 3 without a doubt, at least in my rankings. Dalvin Cook, you had mentioned as well. An elite running back when he is healthy. And even when he's not, Madison's a very, very more than capable running back. And we're absolutely talking, and that's talking all offense. They have a pretty solid defense as well. And because I'm down on the Lions and the Bears, there has to be something else that goes on in this division. I think the Vikings are a playoff team this year. And I don't think 9 wins get you there necessarily, although it probably will in the NFC. Again, this is kind of the same thing where does 9 seem right? Yeah, probably. That probably gets them into the playoffs. But if I have to take a push or which other direction is that going to fall, to me, 10 games seems like a really good spot for the Vikings this year. I think they, like you said, Kirk Cousins he's a solid NFL quarterback. He's easy to shit on. Obviously, there's all the COVID stuff, and all of his comments. He doesn't have to be a likable guy, but he is a serviceable guy. For sure. And I think a lot of people are still sleeping on Adam Thielen. I still think he's got some left in the tank. He is exactly what you want out of a number 2. I'm taking the over easy on the Vikings. This was actually one of the easier picks for me.
Yeah. I think so. I know Bobby will agree with you, and he's somebody. Bobby has always had big upside on Thielen. The dude's hyped him up for 3 or 4 years now. We've talked about him frequently through fantasy football. So. It's good to hear that there's other Thielen fans in the room.
I was even going to go as bold as to say, and I think this might be a fun little wrinkle we didn't talk about, I'm going to lock that. I'm going to call Vikings over as a lock. And I say all of us have to lock 2.
Okay. I like that.
Put a little lock next to me there, Todd. Or Bobby.
Lock it in. Love it. Love it
right now. Todd, would you also like to lock that pick?
No, I'm going to keep it spicy. We're going to spice it up.
Okay.
I don't want to. Aaron and I agree too much, and we've disagreed a couple times already. And I want to see how far this goes.
Okay. All right.
We were off on the Lions. We're good.
I know. So I'm saying we've already had a couple of differences. So I want to keep that. I want to keep that ride going. I don't know what the lazy river's getting a little saucy. So I want to see what's going on.
Right.
I dig it.
All right. I'm gonna throw the next one out there, and then I gotta grab another couple beverages to fill my glass back up.
Perfect.
All right. So we are done with the NFC North.
Well, what about you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I agree with you guys. Vikings over 100%.
Let's go.
Yeah. I thought you had already made my pick for me. I thought you said that we were in agreement.
I mean, we were that convincing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I completely agree. They've got a great receiving core. They're deep at running back. I think one of the things that stands out about the NFC North is all of these teams are deep at running back. They have, two solid options to go to if one goes down. Obviously they want to do running back by committee. That's what a lot of teams are going towards, this day and age, which is really smart. But I mean, these guys are deep. Dalvin Cook, when he's healthy, he potentially, best running back in the league, arguably. I know we said it. Really high on Dalvin Cook as well. Love Adam Thielen. Justin Jefferson, I think if he had somebody else besides Kirk Cousins throwing the ball, he would be the best receiver in the NFL. I think he's that talented. I mean, not that Kirk Cousins is a slouch. You know, he's a serviceable quarterback, but if he had somebody if he had Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, he'd be the best receiver in the league.
Well, yeah, you put him in the same conversation as Devontae, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe. Or he's better. You don't know.
Yeah, 9 games just seems way too low for the Vikings. I think I would even see them winning maybe 11. So I'm not going to lock this one because Aaron's already locked it. I'm going to choose a different team, but 2 different teams actually. But I like to lock there.
Why don't we do one lock for the NFC and one lock for the AFC?
So we do 2 and 2.
Oh, he's spicy. Boys, he's spicy. Let's go.
Let's do it.
See how fast I agreed with you there?
All right, so Bears 6.5. We all have the under. Lions 6.5. Todd and I have the over. Aaron has the under. Packers 11 games. Aaron and I have the over. Todd has the under. And Vikings, we were all in agreement on the over at 9 games. Moving on to the NFC South, we're going to start off with the Atlanta Falcons. Very, very small number, not a shock. 5 games flat. Aaron.
5 seems right. Again, can I just call a push? Is that bold to do? That's bold. No, I got it. I mean, 6 is not unreasonable, but again, it's the same thing. When you're looking at a push, it's which direction do you think it's going to fall? And I think a lot of people believe that the Falcons, and there's really only one team that has a lower over-under than them, and that's the Texans in the AFC at 4.5. So there has to be a team in the NFC that's the bottom feeder, and whether that is the Falcons, maybe it's the Seahawks. I'm going to go under here. It's tough because, again, 5 seems right to me. So I'm going to go under expecting a push.
This is a tough one for me. I'll go ahead and take it, Todd.
Yeah, do it too, buddy.
But now I'm going to grab a beverage. This is too fun.
5 games is really tough for me right now, especially with the Falcons, because 4 doesn't seem like enough and 6 seems like too much.
I think especially when you throw in a 17-game schedule, when you say someone's going to go 4-13, it feels too soft, right?
Right. It feels way too soft, and
it's hard to project. It's hard to project who's gonna finish last. It really is. I think it's harder to project the worst than the best.
Right. Exactly. Matt Ryan leaving is the best thing that could have happened for Matt Ryan. It's not the best thing that could have happened for Atlanta. As much as we love to shit on Matt Ryan for his post New England Super Bowl fallout with the Falcons, he didn't really have a lot of help, and they haven't brought a lot of people in to make that franchise worth a shit. I'm gonna take the under. I'm taking the under here. I don't think they win 6. So for that reason, I'm taking the under here.
That's the same boat I'm in.
Boys, I think we're looking at the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft here.
Yeah.
Here's I agree. I'm with you guys, and here's what I think. You are gonna see a CJ Stroud, Desmond Ridder 2-headed monster in the 2023 NFL season for the Atlanta Falcons.
You got 2 quarterbacks.
It's gonna be famous Jameis Taysom Hill all over again. And in Atlanta, I think you have athleticism like Desmond Ridder that exists within that organization. You bring a guy bring somebody in like Marcus Mariota to be your stopgap, who again we've undervalued versus what he's done overall in his career on this podcast before. But Atlanta has just put themselves in such a financial hole that this is what they have to do. They have to be bad. They have to draft high. And oh, by the way, they're picking Drake London, their top pick this year. He's hurt. We don't know when he's going to come back, right? But they do have Kyle Pitts. They do have Cordarrelle Patterson, and that's kind of where it stops, right? Yeah, the defense is the bottom of the barrel by a lot. That's a defense that could very easily give up 400 yards a game.
Yeah.
And I think this is a team that could win 2 games, right? It's going to be a tough year for Falcons fans. It's going to be really hard.
Absolutely. Quick side note: Did you guys see the photo that Shannon Sharp posted on Twitter of Desmond Ridder?
No.
And what he said. So it's Desmond Ridder doing one of those serious poses, and Shannon Sharp goes, "Man, you know it's crazy to believe that Desmond Ridder's already in his 37th season in the NFL." He looks so old and weathered, and it's like it was really funny.
Speaking of Greg Oden,
yes.
All right,
poor Greg.
So Atlanta Falcons 5 games. We've all got the under. I mean, putting it on paper now. Would anybody like to lock this pick in?
No.
It's
unsafe to lock a bottom barrel pick. It's just not safe.
Yeah, I truly believe, and you're obviously going to get better odds for this, and I don't know that anyone that's offering it, but I'm sure somebody is. I would bet the push here. I think 5 is exactly right. And again, Vegas isn't stupid. Every time over-unders come out, usually they're within a game or 2 of where Vegas pegs the line. And the only player that we didn't really talk of on the offense is Drake London, who I think is a little bit intriguing, but I'm not, it's just not enough there for me to.
I did. But he's hurt.
Oh, yeah, you did. I'm sorry.
Yep.
We don't know. We don't. His timetables is TBD right now.
Yeah, well, that's one of those. We'll just wait and see. That's pretty much all we've got in Atlanta. Moving on to a team that was involved in some drama this offseason, especially at the quarterback position, Carolina Panthers. They are at 6.5. 6.5 is the number. One of those nice over/under numbers with a half in it.
Love it. So someone's winning.
Yeah, somebody's winning money. Who you got?
I got the under. I am not a Baker Mayfield believer. Certainly, I have a Browns hat on, so that's probably a little bit to it. I think there's going to be a lot more people taking the over here, and I believe this line actually started at 5.5 before the Baker trade, and then it went up a game, and then money started pouring in on the over. And here's the thing. Everyone always wants to talk about Baker Mayfield playing with a chip on his shoulder. I've seen Baker Mayfield play with an outstanding offensive line and still can't get outside of his first read. And I think defenses are going to come in and absolutely blanket DJ Moore and, make him look a different way. The one thing, though, for Baker, I will give him credit for is he spreads the ball around a lot. You look at at the end of the game, the box score is someone's got 5 receptions, 3 guys have 3, and maybe 2 guys have 2. You know what I mean? But I don't think you're going to get this chip on your shoulder Baker season that everyone wants to predict. I think a lot of it is people rightfully being upset at the Browns and probably wanting to root for Baker. So I actually think the easy money here, I think this is an inflated number. And I think it's pretty easy for me to take the under here. The offensive line is going to be my biggest concern. Baker Mayfield is going to one of the best offensive lines in the league to one of the worst with a rookie left tackle. He is going to be getting pressure all the time. I think it's a fairly good division looking at the Bucs and the Saints in there. And I just don't see it. I'm going to take the under. I'm not going to lock this because that's what we call bad juju. And I'm just going to softly take the under here.
Okay, Todd.
Well, Aaron, I'm actually this is my first lock of the year.
Oh, let's go.
Which side? And I am taking the under.
Cool.
So you brought up one point that I think is really important here is that your anchor of your offensive line is a rookie, and for a lot of people, an overvalued rookie at left tackle. There are a lot of people that said that this was a premature pick for the Panthers. An undersized left tackle. I mean, undersized being 6'4", 315 or 320, whatever ICM is.
Yeah, but, squish us like a bug, but NFL undersized.
Yeah, NFL undersized. But here's the thing. So I think Baker Mayfield has the largest hero complex for someone who has never actually been the hero before. And when you walk around with a fake cape like Baker Mayfield does, it is really hard to win football games because as soon as you go down a score, you put the cape on, you string it a little bit tighter, and you start to try to do hero shit, right? You go out, you run, you scramble left to throw right. You're always dipping out of the pocket, and that's when Baker makes mistakes. And here's the thing, and I don't want to shit on Baker Mayfield entirely because there are times where you see him and he has done some very good things at the position, at the quarterback position. But again, it's really easy to do that when your offensive line gives you 9 seconds to throw a football. He's not going to have 9 seconds to throw the football this year. He's going to have 3 or 4. And he's not going to know what to do when the pocket collapses before he can make his first move. He has no idea what to do because he's never been in that situation. He wasn't in it in Oklahoma, and he definitely wasn't in it in Cleveland. So it's my lock. I think Carolina. I think Panther fans they're a very loyal community. I've been fortunate enough to tailgate a Panthers game with Panther fans and talk about football with them, and they know their shit. And I've talked to a couple of guys that I tailgated with and asked them, and they said it's going to be tough to show up on Sundays and tailgate this team. So I'm taking the under.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I think for me, if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, I think they have a shot at the over.
Yeah,
but that's a big
if.
How often does a running back really play that much of a difference in the wins and loss category? I know running backs are important. I understand that.
But I mean, he's not just a running back. He's a receiver. He's a blocker. That dude is very impactful. Christian McCaffrey is one of those running backs that, when healthy, he can do it all. He's got the size to stop the blitz. He's got the speed to get to that second level quickly, and he's got the hands to catch it out of the backfield with the best of them.
But who doesn't want to chip down? It's one thing when you got Teddy Bridgewater doing it, or you got,
I'm on the side where I don't think Baker Mayfield gets enough fucking credit for what he did in Cleveland. I know that you sat there and you watched him play, but that is the first quarterback this century that has started for you guys in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah, but that's so dismissive of the rest of the roster. Like it's like, did Baker Mayfield really do all of that? Yeah, he absolutely helped. But
name a quarterback prior that was able to stick around long enough to even function the way that he functioned in Cleveland.
For Cleveland, yeah, but that's such a low bar. You know what I mean? Like it's not even really like a fair comparison. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, like everyone wants to say Baker took them to the playoffs, but everyone was shitting on Baker last year for everything that he did. And because of the situation they found him in, everyone now wants to root for Baker and just forget all of the shit that they said about him.
Right. I'm not saying that he was outstanding. Obviously he was he was young when he got there. And he didn't develop as quickly, as Browns fans would have liked. I still think Baker Mayfield has some growing up to do. I'm not, I still question his maturity at times, but I think the guy can play football. And I'm going to take the over here.
I just don't think that, and again, I know Baker was hurt last year, but basically what you're saying is with the Browns roster compared to the Panthers roster from last year to this year.
I think they can win 7 games.
So the Browns won 8 games last year.
Yep.
With a much better roster.
I'm taking the over here.
You can take the over, and I'm fine with that. I actually don't think it's a bad pick. I'm not on a lock here, but
no, I'm not. I lock that shit in. I hear you. I 110% disagree with you, but I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you too. I do. I 105% disagree with you.
Thanks for hearing me, guys.
I hear you. You're just fucking it. No, I'm just kidding.
You're fucking wrong, but I hear you.
But here's the fun part about this exercise is it is interesting to see how everyone views the season right now from 30,000 feet. And I think Baker is a polarizing figure for a lot of different reasons. And Bobby, I don't think you're wrong. I really don't. Like I can. There's 2 ways this season is going to go. But I've never seen Baker throw for 4,000, I think he might have one time, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to throw for 35 touchdowns. It's just not going to happen. And that roster really needs that in order to win games. The Saints are going to put up points. The Buccaneers are going to put up points. And when I'm doing over-unders, I always look at what is the rest of the division going to do.
Right. I mean, when you look at a lot of the games that were won in Cleveland, just roster aside, Baker Mayfield involved, they are scrappy wins. Every single win was a scrappy win, whether it was the defense stepping up, making a play, whether it was, Kareem Hunt or Chubb stepping up and making a play, or even Baker, making a play from time to time. It was just a gritty win. And that's his play style. It's not going to go out there and throw, 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. It's not Baker. But, I think it's the same thing with Tim. I'm not comparing Baker and Tebow. I'm just comparing how they win games. They were gritty games, when Tebow played, but Tebow won football.
You've already lost me.
And I fucking hate Tim Tebow. But every single game that man won, it was just a scrappy ass win because the dude couldn't play quarterback. I think it's a similar style. It's a scrappy play style, and sometimes you can pull out wins. And I don't know. I'm taking a flyer here.
That's fair.
Trying to be different, guys.
That's how you win this game. You don't want to take the same one everyone else did.
Absolutely. Sure. All right. Well, let's move on.
Probably we're going to spend a lot of time on the Panthers.
Right. One of the home of one of the most famous off-season workout videos on the planet. We're headed down to New Orleans. The New Orleans Saints. They are slated at 8.5 games. Todd, over under.
Man, this is a tough one because I feel like it's. I mean, Vegas says it's pretty even, geared towards the under. I'm gonna follow Vegas here, and I'm gonna take the under just because I don't know. I just something about Jameis Winston just doesn't give me faith that he can be on the right side of a winning category. But here's the thing in New Orleans that I am excited about. They have a really strong receiving core in New Orleans.
Yes,
they have four targets and a tight end that all catch the ball very, very well. And oh, by the way, they do have Alvin Kamara, who is not going to go through any of his hearings this year. So you're going to have Alvin Kamara for all of the 2022-23 season. And not a slouch on the opposite side of the ball either, right? You have Marcus Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore, some big names on the defensive side of the ball, but I just don't trust Jameis Winston to win a 2-minute drill. That's what this comes down to me. If a game is close and the ball is in Winston's hands, he is bound to make mistakes. Statistically, he makes a lot of errors. So I don't want to give my money to the winning side of Jameis Winston. I'm more willing to give my money to the losing side. That's why I'm hitting the under here.
Yeah. This is a close lock for me. I'm not going to mark this down as a lock. I'm taking the over. Honestly, Todd, it's funny. I'm kind of taking the same sentiments you are, but in the positive side. Yeah. I think Jameis Winston is actually a little bit underrated at this point. He has played well in New Orleans. He just got injured last year, and we can talk about the 30-30 season. That's a little bit interesting. And the one thing that's holding me back, the reason I'm not locking this is because of Sean Payton being gone, and what is that going to look like? I want to see what that looks like for 1 year before I decide, how this season or how the Saints are going to go. I love Jarvis Landry being back in Louisiana. I love the Olave pick. If Michael Thomas can stay healthy, fantastic. Kamara's going to play. You had already mentioned the guys on the defensive side of the ball. I am pretty high on the Saints. This is not a lock for me, but this is a, the little latch, on a screen door or whatever. You can easily break that one open. I'm going to latch the screen door on this one on the over.
I like it.
All right. Well, I'm actually going with Aaron on the over here.
How dare you?
Fuck you,
son of a bitch.
You just shove it on the last just shove it. No, I think they're really talented on the offensive side of the ball. You guys already mentioned it. That receiving core is great. Kamara's going to play. The only question mark, I agree with you, Aaron, is what does a Sean Payton-less New Orleans team look like? But I think that even without Sean Payton there's still enough talent to win 9 games there. So I'm actually going to lock this one in.
Oh, he doesn't want to put it on the I love this.
Put that deadbolt in, baby. Let's go.
I was so close. I was so close. It's the Sean Payton part for me, and I'm glad we agree. That's a hell of a lock. I'm proud of you.
Let's go.
Locking it in.
BDE coming from Bobby Layman.
Buccaneers. Moving on. Last team in the NFC South. Obviously, they are predicted to win quite a few games this year. 11.5 is the number. Aaron, we'll slide this over to you, sir. Lead us off.
There's a lot of stuff going on in Tampa Bay right now that is I'm questioning. So right now, the Buccaneers are tied with the Bills for the highest over-under win total. That's initially jarring. But then you think about the fact of how stacked the AFC is, and it's not as jarring. I think the Bills number would be a little bit higher if you weren't dealing with the amount of competition that the AFC is at the top than you are the NFC. So here's the things that I'm looking at. Tom Brady has been gone for like 2 weeks. He's back. He's Tom Brady. That's the first part I'm going to bring up because it's really not that big a deal. He's Tom fucking Brady. I'm not really worried about it, but it's at least
how many times? 23 times? Yeah.
It's at least worth mentioning.
I think he knows what's going on at this point. I think the man can take 2 weeks off in his 20s.
Exactly.
In the NFL.
Now, the center position is going to be a question mark. The 2 guards are not the guards that they had when they won the Super Bowl. You have Todd Bowles in the first year being a head coach. You have Tom Brady losing Rob Gronkowski. You have the Godwin injury that you're now worried about. Mike Evans has always been an 1,000-yard receiver, but he's seemingly more banged up as the years progress. I think he finally is getting to that point of, in fantasy drafts, I'm starting to question his ADP. He's kind of a guy that I'm not touching unless he falls 5 or 6 spots to me. The defensive side of the ball, we saw what happened with them at cornerback last year. There's probably going to be a little bit of positive regression there. They still have some bangers on the defensive side. I think this is a pretty easy under for me. Again, it's not a lock, but I think 10 sounds right. And what this season screams to me is 10-7, but hot going into the playoffs. I'm a little bit worried that they're going to drop some games early where, you're not going to have Godwin. Fournette will probably be fine, but obviously there was the big story of him coming in out of weight to camp. Todd Bowles being the first-year head coach, and we've seen Todd Bowles be a head coach before, and it wasn't to great success. But he was a great defensive coordinator. I'm going to take the under here, but I still think that this is a team that can win the Super Bowl.
All right, fair enough. Todd, to you.
That's it. Aaron said it all.
Taking the under.
Yeah, there's nothing more I could add to it. He said everything that I could say.
It's like old school.
Yeah.
We have no response. That answer was perfect.
all the points that you made were all of my points for Tampa Bay. I'm like, all right, well,
I just Will Ferrell blacked out there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should have left some for you guys.
No, it's okay. Look, here's the thing. When you're right, you're right. And for a team like Tampa Bay that we don't look at often, you covered all the highlights. There's 3 or 4 big concerns, and those concerns allude to victories. And
to me, even the NFC, if you're going 11-6, you're in the playoffs.
Yes,
I mean that's a great record in the NFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I could think of. I was trying to think of something else to add. That's what I can add.
Nope, Aaron covered it all. Check the box.
Let's go first on the next one.
Aaron took care of it.
All righty. So the NFC South is wrapped up. We had 2 locks in the NFC South. The Falcons were 5 games. We were all on the under there. The Panthers were 6.5. I was on the over for the Panthers. Todd and Aaron are on the under. Todd locked it in.
Lock it in, baby.
Saints 8.5 games. Aaron and I took the over. I locked the over in. Todd with the under, and we all 3 took the Buccaneers under. Moving on, the NFC East. I guess we got to start with America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
The old even split Dallas Cowboys.
Even split Dallas Cowboys.
Jerry Jones controls the fucking world.
He sure does. 10 games, even on the nose for the Dallas Cowboys. Todd, over or under?
I'm gonna do it. I hate it. I'm gonna go over. I'm going over on the Cowboys. Oh God, I hate saying anything positive about Dallas. I'm gonna say two things positive and then I'm gonna move on. So I think that Ezekiel Elliott is due to have a resurgence in the NFL.
Wow.
I do. I think his time is back.
Chad,
I think
that's big words coming from Todd, by the way.
I think Jerry Jones is an asshole for making him play through injuries last year. But Ezekiel Elliott, I think people forget because there's been a lot of shadowing over what he's done in the last 2 years. Ezekiel Elliott has the ability to be a top 5 running back in the NFL. He's built completely different. There's a reason why.
I'm going to stop you right there because you know what? I made a similar point last year in the middle of the season, and you and Corey both fucking shit on me for it.
You're right. At that point in time, I absolutely agree with you.
100%.
I agree that at that point in time, looking at Ezekiel Elliott, he was.
I just want that to be on the record.
That's fine. That's fine. Look, that's fine. That's fine. Because here's the thing. I think that is a really good two-headed monster in Dallas as well with him and Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard showed that he has the ability to flip the switch for Dallas. And it takes a lot for me to swallow my pride and say that a Buckeye is going to pan out well in the NFL for the most part. But I don't know. There's something about Dallas that they'll win 11 games and they'll lose in the first round of the playoffs, and then we'll laugh about it at the end of the year. So
right.
I'd take the over for that.
You know what, Todd, I'm going to agree with you. I believe Aaron has said this multiple times. I think Tony Pollard has surpassed Ezekiel Elliott as far as talent.
I have not said that. That's Corey.
That's Corey.
I was going to agree with Todd on the Zeke points.
I couldn't remember if it was you or Corey. I think Pollard is a more viable option this season coming in. Not to say that Zeke's over the hill, but he's getting there. You know, he's obviously he's coming down this year. I think Zeke. I mean, obviously he's played through a lot of injuries, like you had mentioned, but Zeke's in his 6th, 7th season at this point.
Yeah, 6. I think.
Yeah, sixth.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of wear and tear on the old body. You know, after season 6 or season 7, I mean the running back position gets beat up the most beyond the offensive line, and I think if they portion it out well, I think that's going to be a great thing for them, keeping Zeke and Pollard as fresh as they possibly can. But I do agree that they win more than 10 games. I think I love Dak Prescott. I think last year, beginning of the season, coming off that injury, we were all like, "Holy shit!" Like,
yeah, that Thursday night game was electric.
This is why they paid Dak Prescott, and because that game, it was so awesome to watch. I mean, everybody watched that game where he was just sitting there looking at his ankle, and it's like flopping around like a fish, but. Oh, gross, by the way. But yeah, I think they're strong on the offensive side of the ball. I think they win at least 11.
You guys are making this really tough on me because Todd, I agree with your points on Zeke, and probably not to the same extreme, but I think the pendulum has swung the other way. And if you want to do this from like a fantasy perspective, fine, because it's all about opportunity. I still think Zeke is a good NFL running back. I think he's going to put up good numbers this year because I still think he's going to get the workload. But Bobby, I also kind of agree with you too that I think he is on the downward part of his career, especially when you talk about the shelf life of running backs outside of maybe the wear and tear we've seen from a Derrick Henry, who's just kind of been that exception the last couple of years.
Him and Adrian Peterson are the two freaks of nature that I
am not as big on Tony Pollard as everybody else. I think he's good. I just think he's the perfect change of pace for Zeke. And obviously when you have those fresh legs coming in and a pretty good receiving back, that's great. I think the one thing we haven't talked about enough here is CeeDee Lamb. I think he's going to be the absolute X factor for this team because Amari Cooper now being gone. And listen, Amari Cooper at this point, and I've said it enough on here, it's not so much that he's great. It's just the amount of value that the Browns were able to squeak out when you see what all of these receivers were going for in the offseason. And I understand why the Dallas Cowboys made that move. But now you're forcing CeeDee Lamb into this position that I think he can excel at, but I still haven't seen it yet. And again, this is another example to me, and Vegas does this all the time. When you're not going to put a 0.5 on the end of the number, you're not very confident. And it makes me think that 10 is exactly right. And I'm going to take the under for the simple fact that 10 seems right, and y'all both took the over, and I'm playing a numbers game.
Okay. It's a bold strategy, Cot. All right, would anybody wish to lock this pick in?
No. Not the Cowboys. Not America's team.
No.
The other thing I will mention too, though,
probably down.
Dak Prescott played pretty well last year coming off of injury. Usually the guys the year after a major injury are going to succeed. And I'm basically talking myself out of an under, even though I'm still going to stick with it.
Love it. I love it. Sticking to your guns.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns. I was about to change it.
Are you sure?
Guns. Yeah.
All right. You have 3 seconds.
The reins are pulled all the way back.
3.
I'm sticking to it. This is definitely, I will say, for the NFC, this is probably the hardest pick for me.
Okay.
And you guys just basically forced my hand, I think, on this one. Because I was on the fence anyway, so why not play the numbers?
Okay. Sure.
All right.
Don't forget, there's also a fourth person that hasn't picked anything yet. So we just don't know.
We're still going to have to get those in at some point.
Yeah, but he's an idiot, so I'm not worried about his picks.
You know what we might have to do? Like, the next time he's on, we might just have to do a speed round. And just have him rip him off. No explanations. Just pick.
Yeah, don't you dare try to even name someone on the offense.
You shut your mouth and just pick.
Well, I think Zeke is going to fuck off.
You're too long-winded. Get your pick out. Move on.
We already know Bobby said you like Tony Pollard.
All right, next, the New York Football Giants. Another even game prediction. 7.
God.
Aaron, over, under.
I keep doing this, and statistically speaking, it's not going to work out. I'm taking the under again. I just don't see a single chance that a Daniel Jones-led team is going to win 8 games. And I think my reasoning will come out in just a little bit here, but
listen, going to be healthy.
Yeah, what did I just say about Dak? I'm big on guys the year after a major injury. And I think I'm not really worried about Saquon Barkley at all this year. He plays one of the most injury-demanding positions in sports. Could he get injured? Absolutely. He's a running back in the NFL. But you can say that about every single person that gets, the ball 15 times a game out of the backfield. I'm not necessarily worried about that. What I am worried about is Kadarius Toney. I'm worried about their cap space where they're going to probably have to let some guys go here right before we get down to final cut days. I think the Giants are going to have a lot of players that you're surprised that are let go. But my point in taking the under here is you have a terrible roster that's way above the cap. They're in cap hell and they have a bad roster. They're in cap hell and they're not paying a quarterback. I'm taking the under here. I don't, they spent a shitload of money on Kenny Galladay. We're not sure what he's going to be. And even if he is good, I just don't trust Daniel Jones. They have a couple interesting pieces. What was it? What's his name? Who was the first pick? Why am I blanking now?
Thibodeau.
There's that part of it here now. That's just kind of a deflating thing to probably not so much the team as it is the fan base. I think they'll easily turn on this team when they start floundering to begin the season. I'm taking the under here. If they win 7 games, great. That's a push for me. There's no chance in hell they win 8.
Small sidebar. The hit on Thibodeau. Clean, dirty.
It's within the rules. It's, in my opinion, it's dirty because it's a preseason game. If that was a regular season game, I don't think I would have looked twice at it.
Yep.
I'm going to keep speaking for Todd tonight, if that's okay with everyone.
No. Look,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it was the Bengals that were involved, so that's how I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, so look, here's the thing. I think that I don't agree that because it's preseason, it's dirty, whatever. These guys are fighting for a roster spot, or they're fighting for more time on the field. So
sure.
Whatever you're doing during preseason for a lot of these guys dictates 53 or practice or somewhere else. So
if it was a
football is
Steelers
football.
player, would it have been a dirty hit?
Doesn't matter. No, football. Football.
Let me answer that for you, Todd. Yeah.
Football is football. Anytime somebody pulls from the opposite side, or anytime you're blocking an edge rusher, it is instinct to get below an edge rusher because they're going to beat you high. Right. So it is what it is. Thibodeau,
unfortunate situation.
Yeah, I don't know. People get so caught up in the dirty hit, like, kind of like the knee buckle shots, right? But people have been doing that for forever. If you watch somebody kick a field goal, everybody fucking drops to their knees and hits everybody out from their knees. Like that's always happened. So it sucks that it happened to their 3rd overall pick or whatever. But like he'll be fine. Right. He'll be back in 2 weeks.
Right.
So
all right,
shut the fuck
up. Back on
Thibodeau.
track. So Aaron's got the under. Todd, over under.
Yeah, I think you watched Brian Daboll's body language on the sideline. He's always upset. Everything that happens in New York right now, he recognizes that he has inherited an absolute monster tire fire, right? Like this is something that is ignited so high, and the money is just. I just imagine a cartoon where money's just flying all over the place, and Daboll's just trying to catch it to try to save every penny that he can because he realizes that he is in red hell, and it's going to be hard for New York for a couple of years. And Aaron's right. Daniel Jones doesn't have the juice in the NFL to lead a team in a 2-minute drill. He just doesn't. I mean, the guy trips over his own fucking feet in the open field. I'll never forget that for forever.
I just can't picture a Daniel Jones led 8-win team.
No, it does, and you're right. And I think another thing on that too is that Daniel Jones has been handed he's kind of been handed a dressed up turd on a platter for most of his NFL career too. Every time they bring in talent or they draft talent, injuries, or it's either him getting injured or it's Barkley getting injured or it's Tony or it's Galladay or it's Sterling Shepard, and they just can't get healthy at the same time. And it is what it is. That's football. But well, shit. That to me, like I think about that when I think about total wins. This is a team that historically that just doesn't stay healthy. So I take the under.
Yeah, there's not really much else to add. I'm taking the under here. The Giants are awful. I think they're going to be contending for that number 1 pick this year.
Woo! Also, it's fucking New York. It's hard as hell to be an athlete in New York.
I'm taking the way under here. I'm going to lock this one in. So,
I dig it,
dirty boys.
Actually, I dig it. I dig it. I have no qualm with that.
Yep, locking this one in. So that is my second lock. I'm officially done locking teams. I've got the over on the Saints.
The chastity belt is secured.
It is secure. All right, moving on to one of the most hated fan bases in all of football, the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a half game, the only half game in this division. Eagles are at 9.5. Todd, I'll let you lead it off.
Man, see, I knew you were going to have me lead this.
I had to pass it. But quick sidebar. Are you guys having problems with gnats in your house this year?
You know, it's so funny. We've had a big fly problem this year.
Every time I kill one, another one pops up. Like, dude, it's insane. I've killed 2 during this podcast.
We bought one of the. We had to drain our air conditioner, and we bought like those fly bags for the outside. Works very, very well. Highly recommend that. I would assume that they work on Nats as well.
Okay. You have to send me the link.
I will.
Go
down to your local Lowe's or Home Depot. We're a Lowe's family ourselves, but
I got a Lowe's 2 minutes from here.
It's true, he does. I've been to that Lowe's lots of times. Mm-hmm. That's a good walk-in Lowe's. For what it's worth, everybody has a walk-in Lowe's, right? Like
ours is 10 minutes, if that.
Yeah. You go.
There's a nice little side road you can take too, so you don't have to deal with any traffic.
Yeah, it's great. That's a great Lowe's. I spent a lot of time before Declan was born in that Lowe's just walking around because I get myself so worked up about becoming a new parent.
I just go dad on.
I just go in there and I could decompress and I could look at every single grill and lawnmower that I'll never need to buy or
have
to
buy. Fresh cedar.
Yeah, Todd's just in aisle 6, dad grunting.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me. That was it.
Like, oh my God, they have grills that you can see through now. Oh,
they sell Blackstones here. Oh my God!
I'm just taking every spatula in a Blackstone and just standing over it. Like, yeah, that was me. That was me.
I'm there enough that I would be convinced that someone else would think I work there.
Yeah,
and I don't.
But you could definitely help them out.
I might be able to. I'm like, what are you looking for? I probably know where it is.
All right, the Philadelphia Eagles.
9.5 games over under. Todd.
So I think there's a lot of the question mark that comes to mind for me is Jalen Hurts.
Sure.
Because you look at Jalen Hurts historically, a lot of what he does on the successful side is garbage time. A lot of his accumulated yards are in the garbage time of a game when they're already down by 14, 21, whatever it may be. And then Jalen Hurts is running for 70, throwing a touchdown, doing whatever he's doing. But here's the thing. He's got Devonta Smith, right? Former Heisman winner Devonta Smith. And he now has A.J. Brown. But the thing that Philadelphia doesn't have that I think is still an integral part of the game is they have a very weak running game. Miles Sanders is the most overvalued fantasy football running back that there is across the board. Never draft Miles Sanders. That's from a guy that drafted Miles Sanders last year, and he hurt me every single week for the 11 weeks that I just kept starting him just in case he breaks it out. Because he's a good receiving running back, but when you have a guy like Jalen Hurts, it's hard to figure that out.
The running back position,
right? But here's the thing. I look at Philadelphia's offensive line and how stout their offensive line is. It's a top 5 offensive line. It's not a bad defense. I think Jalen Hurts has most of the right stuff to make it work. And I think having A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith to throw the ball to, and then even having Dallas Goedert to be a third option, I think the Eagles have almost all the things they need to get into the playoffs. And with that being said, I'm taking the over on Philadelphia. I think this is a 10-win season for Philly.
I dig it.
Aaron.
I'll take you a step further there, Todd. So I'm also going to take the over.
Yeah.
You've mentioned all the I love the A.J. Brown signing. I think Jalen Hurts takes a step forward this year. I think they have a pretty solid defense. I think they have a pretty solid culture. When you talk about we've talked about this enough, right? The NFC is a much weaker division this year than the AFC. Who does the NFC East play this year? The AFC South, which means they get the Texans, they get the Titans, they get the Jaguars, they get the Colts. That's pretty favorable of all the teams. If you're going to get an AFC division this year, cross conference, which one do you want?
That's the one you want. Yeah, you want the South.
Who do they also get this year? The NFC North. That means the Bears. That means the Lions. Obviously the Vikings and the Packers, but I still think that those are going to be worthwhile games. And then their wild card with the 17th game is against the Dolphins. Also a winnable game to me. The gang locks it in. Over Philadelphia Eagles. I think they win the division. I think they are a dark horse NFC championship team. I'm not saying that they're going to get there, but that is my dark horse. Earlier I said I think the Packers are a solid, best record in the NFC team. When I break down the schedule like that, I think that is the absolute best value that you can get out of the NFC of the highest win total in
What's
the
the
NFC.
X factor? Who's the what's the X factor for the Eagles? What has to happen for them to achieve all of those goals?
I think you got Devontae Smith in his second year, who's going to be a really, really solid wide receiver. I think the A.J. Brown piece is going to be really, really huge. Honestly, I mean, the X factor is Jalen Hurts, right? I mean, it has to be. But this is a lock for me. I think 10 is clear. I think 10 is easy. Especially just look at the schedule, man. You get the Commanders twice, you get the Giants twice, you get the Jaguars, you get the Texans. That's what, 6 right there.
Yeah.
Let's just say you split with the Cowboys. Let's say you take both of the games from the Bears and the Lions, which I think would be pretty easy. And then all you got to do is win like 1 or 2 games. I think this is the easiest lock of the year.
Wow. You know, I honestly, I was going to take the under.
I did what I just do to you.
What'd that man do?
Do it. Stick with your gut, man. Stick with your gut.
Do it.
Well, you made a great point as far as them having to go against the AFC South. You know, as far as the cross-divisional or cross-conference games, that is the best division to be facing. And honestly, that's what you swung me. You swung me. That's what swung me. I was going to play the numbers game and take the under, but I'm going to take the over with you guys.
So when I took the under for the Cowboys, I said it was tough but also easy, and it'll make sense in a second. It's because the Eagles were my lock.
It's a great way to put a little bow tie on that.
Little bow. What is it? Christmas?
All right. Moving on. So Aaron is completely locked in at this point. He's got the Vikings over 9, and he's got the Eagles over 9.5. No unders taken. All overs.
I feel like I have a lot of unders on the board, though.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 unders. And only 4 overs. So you've taken the under more than you've taken the over. But your locks are on the over. All right.
This is what Carpenter just nerd.
Fucking nerd. All right. To wrap up the NFC East, we have the Washington Commanders at 8 games. L7 weenie. Washington Commanders, 8 games. Aaron, lead us off.
So, am I really going to take Carson Wentz to win 9 games?
I'm just going to tell you I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the under, too. It's pretty easy. I mean, what we just saw that Chase Young just got injured. I believe
the Commanders are going to be terrible. They'll be lucky to win 6.
Yeah, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this. This one, honestly, this could have been a lock for me.
Todd, are you taking the under?
Yeah, boys, you got my second lock here.
Yeah,
this is my lock.
It just feels better to lock the over.
So for me,
I wanted to split
it. So, look, I like to think of myself as a cognizant man, and I don't trust Carson Wentz to lead a team through the trenches and to be successful at the finish line. And maybe there's some weapons there, but that went from being a top 5 defense to being one of the biggest question marks in the NFL moving forward. And it doesn't seem like things are getting any better, right? It seems like it's kind of stagnant, and you know they've given Scary Terry his contract extension, and he's done what he's needed to do to get the money. And I think he's a very good talent. I don't want to take anything away from Terry McLaurin because I think he's a very good talent in the NFL.
Agreed.
But I don't love Carson Wentz throwing him the ball 12 times a game, right? I just don't. So this is my lock for an under. I think Bobby's right. I think this is a team that maybe wins 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a team that can contend for the first pick. It's crazy to me that they're at 8. And again, The Colts last year with a far superior roster went 9-8.
Yep.
Beautiful thing seeing a beer poured. Oh, sorry. It's kind of lost there. All right.
I just imagine Bobby went down the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory like wonder there, and it's just a like a psychedelic moment of him just pouring Oktoberfest, and there's a bunch of characters just running around as he's pouring this thing out.
Yes, absolutely. So I have a proposition just based off of what I've seen from the locks. I know we all have 2 locks, and that's the agreement at this point. Do we want to do 1 lock per division?
Oh,
Wow.
We would have to double back. We already took care of it in the NFC East. There's only Aaron needs to make a pick in the South, and Todd, you and I would have to make a pick in the North.
I'm down with that. I like that.
I just thought of it, and I was like, you know what? Maybe we should do 1 a division.
Here's what we have to decide on, though, is because we're gonna score this at the end of the year.
Right.
If you miss a lock, is that like -2 points? And then you get 1 point for hitting over under, half a point for a push.
All right, so we're doing okay. Hold on, we got a double back. We should have done this at the beginning.
Actually, it doesn't push when it matters because you're either going to be over or under it. Everyone picked
right. So a push is 0. A correct pick should be 1. A correct locked pick should be 2. An incorrect locked pick should be 3. And then
Negative
that's how
3.
it should be negative 3.
3. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in on that.
You want to do it that way? Okay. All right.
I like that. Write that down, though.
I'm doing it right now.
I love how the beers make us more degenerate.
Right.
Carp likes it, and Carp says he's the captain of the ship now. So
correct.
All right.
1 point. Incorrect. -1 point. Lock. 2 points. Incorrect. Lock. -3. Okay. All right. So let's meander back up to the south, and then we'll go to the north. We'll just work our way back up the ladder before we just slide all the way down it. So we all 3 have locks in the east. Aaron has got the over on the Eagles. I have got the under on the Giants, and Todd has the under on the Commanders. In the south, I have the lock on the Saints over 8.5. Todd has the under on the Panthers at 6.5 locked. Aaron, you need to decide if you're going to take the Bucks under, the Saints over, the Panthers under, or the Falcons under.
Boy, I'm in bad territory here. Because the Panthers under Todd has taken.
Correct.
But I also screen door locked the Saints.
Yep.
But that's another over. And I also know what my other lock is going to be. So I'm just going to go with a NFC powerhouse this year where it's going to be very top heavy. And I'm okay with doing that. I'm going to lock the Saints over.
Okay.
What did you guys have for the Saints?
I locked the over, and Todd had the under.
Okay, so me and Bobby are both locking. Okay.
Yep, we are at the hip, sir.
Here's the thing: when you say screen door lock, you can't come back and be like, "Well, I'm not sure about that."
Right. Yep, it's true.
All right. So Aaron,
you can lock the screen door.
In. Todd, you and I have to lock in a pick in the north. Todd, you have the Bears. You and I both have the Bears under 6.5. We also have the Lions over 6.5. And then we're split on the Packers. I am over and you are under.
I'm gonna get saucy. I'm gonna lock in my Lions pick here.
Oh, I love that.
Interesting.
Love that, by the way.
Because I'm on my 3rd glass of bourbon and I'm ready to rock and roll, boys.
What do you got in the glass tonight, Mr. Gottschall?
This is a gentleman by the name of George Remus.
Ooh.
I'm telling you right now,
A bourbon that Caroline and I have been drinking a lot of is Basil Hayden Toast. If you've never had it, it is.
I like basil. I like toast. Joe Hayden's pretty cool.
Just lock it in.
That's a lot.
Lock.
Just lock it in. No, but I'm telling you, it's good. It's kind of on the pricier side. It's like $45 for the bottle, but it is unbelievable. Neat.
Well,
on the rocks, however you want to take it.
I entered in the Ohio Liquor Lottery, so if you guys have not done so yet, make sure you're in there. There's a bottle.
Send me the link.
Okay. I'll just put it in the group chat. There's a bottle.
Gotta send Bobby a lot of links.
Yes, I need all the links.
We got to get the Ohio Lottery. I love it.
It's blatant special. It's a Weller Reserve, Weller 12-year, Colonel, and then there's one other one I'm missing.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold on that.
There's 2 Wellers in there, and Aaron and I are both Weller men, so I know
it's just so good. I bought some more today.
Right.
I know. I got tomorrow's payday, so I'm gonna have to hit the liquor store on my way home from work.
All right.
I went. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. I've made my decision.
Yeah.
I am going to lock the Bears under.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is before you said let's double back, I almost second. Here's the thing: the Vikings were my first lock, and why I said let's all do locks. And as the game mode changed, the Bears under seemed like the better lock for a division. I'm not going to change it because I'm a gentleman. But Bobby just changed the rules to take the best Vegas juice. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I just wanted to take one per division. I had nothing to do with it.
No, I know. I'm just fucking with you, but you're an asshole.
I'm just fucking with you, but fuck you for doing the thing that has the greatest odds. Whatever, it's fine.
It's like you're a cool guy, but you're a fucking dick, dude.
Hey, I just yeah. I mean, if you can have 2 points, I'm taking 2 points.
Carp joined the 3 of us drinking a little larceny tonight. Not a bad bourbon option though. It's a good lower end bourbon.
I love it. So real quick then, with the rules, so you get 1 point for hitting. You don't get any points for missing then, if it's not a lock.
No, so yeah,
Right,
correct
okay.
1 point, incorrect minus a point. A lock is 2, and an incorrect lock is -3.
Okay. So you miss a lock. No, honestly, kind of no harm, no foul, other than you're not getting points. Which I agree with the way that we're doing locks now.
Well, if you pick an incorrect lock, then you're -3.
No. What I'm saying is if you miss an over under, it's just 0.
Basically,
I have Bears under, but they hit the over. It's just a wash for me. It's just
you
0.
you lose a point.
You lose a point.
Yes. So if you make an incorrect pick, it's -1. A correct pick is +1.
Okay.
And then a correct lock is 2, and an incorrect lock is -3. We're
I
punishing.
don't want to switch that to the Bears under now, but I won't.
I'm okay if you switch it.
I'm not gonna.
No, it's a gentleman's agreement. We've already.
I just want to clarity. That's all.
Yeah, I think once you decide, you decide. That's it.
Yeah, but the rules.
I feel bad.
So okay, but now I have a question because this actually can come into effect. A lock push because I have the Vikings over at 9. That's just a 0.
I would assume.
Yeah, I think it's neutral.
That's a wash.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with the lock over there.
That's a wash. Yep. Okay.
No harm. That's a no harm, no foul.
I just want. Hey, here's the thing: you got to make the rules before it gets to the end of the season, and we're
you make.
Yeah.
Hey,
you know what the great thing is? We have video evidence.
exactly.
We can go. We can go to the replay.
Corey's going to cheat this for sure.
Well, here's the thing: is that Aaron made the Swedish lock with the Vikings, right? He stayed neutral, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah,
No harm, no foul. We're fine.
unless it's 8.
Then there's harm.
There's that. Yeah.
There's a little bit of harm. That's fine though.
I think that's a good lock though, man. The Vikings are strong, man. I think they win at least 10.
I tell you what, I would have changed that to the Bears if it wasn't for the flat number.
That's fair.
100%. All right, to the last division with the rules in place finally after 3 divisions.
It's the evolution.
I'm having so much fun with you guys.
We're growing. Great. So next year, this is going to be really smooth. Cheers to you guys. I keep topping my glass off. It's great.
It's a solid mug. Why would you not drink out of it? You ever just throw that thing in the freezer?
I did. I had it in the freezer before I busted it out tonight. This is also a great mug to do a milkshake in as well. Quick sidebar.
Just trying to think of the last time I had a milkshake.
I was just thinking. Like,
I made myself a milkshake in that mug today. Butterfinger milkshake.
Oh,
it was great.
That sounds good.
It was phenomenal.
Too fat for that shit, man.
Yeah, I'm fat. I get it.
Cauliflower gnocchi for dinner.
Yeah,
it was delicious though.
I just don't give a fuck. All right, moving on. NFC West, our favorite pretender team of last year. The Arizona Cardinals are at 8.5 games. Who led off last? Was it Aaron? All right, I'm gonna flip it to Todd. Todd, Arizona Cardinals over under 8.5.
Ugh, under. He has no targets. You have no DeAndre for the first half of the season.
It's traded for Hollywood Brown.
Come on.
They got fucking Ertz,
Hollywood,
Rondell Moore.
Okay, so
they have Kyler Murray. Come on.
I'm just saying, like, to say they have no. I'm not saying they're fan, but to say that he has no targets, I think is
okay.
Just.
Let me rephrase it.
They traded the first round pick for Hollywood Brown. He's going to get targets.
Sure, but that doesn't mean that's the right pick though, right? Here's the thing. I think that Arizona has built this very almost college football-esque offense, right? It's very fast. I foresee Arizona running a ton of no huddle offense because everybody on that side of the ball. And by the way, right now, Zach Ertz is like second or third on the depth chart. Their rookie that they drafted out of Colorado State is their number one tight end going into this season. For what it's worth, that's what I've read. Trey McBride is right now their top tight end. Zach Ertz on some depth charts is third because he's already kind of made it known because now he has a son that they named Madden for what it's worth. Madden, whatever. He's going to spend more time as a father, which might take him away from time on the field. Even though you just gave him money, whatever. Under. I don't like agreeing with Corey very often, but he's made a point very, very frequently and very often on this podcast. You don't trust the birds after you cook the bird, and no, I agree. I think the undersized quarterback is the black swan of the NFL. Everybody wants it to work, and it just doesn't work. So I take the under.
Okay. Aaron, sorry.
I was very ready to take the over here because I think Kyler's going to play with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder this year, and I know that's a very cliche thing to say. Obviously, he's been in the news a lot this year just with the contract amendment that everyone knows about, which is still hilarious to me that he signed it and then after getting the guaranteed money complained about it and then got them to get rid of it, which is just so funny to me. I just don't love Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. I did a quick glance at their schedule. I just don't see it. I just don't see it this year. And one thing I didn't necessarily realize.
Who's their cross conference division that they're playing?
Oh, it's so good. You have AFC West, NFC West this year.
Oh, wow.
That is going to be great football.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
I have a lot of unders under my belt right now. I'm going to take the under again. And it's just doing a quick glance at it. I just don't see how they beat the Rams twice. I think they can split with the Rams. I'm high on the Eagles this year. Not necessarily that they can't win that game. You got the Vikings in there. You got obviously the 49ers and the Rams twice. You got the Chargers. And then their cross-conference wild card is the Patriots, which isn't necessarily a loss by any means, but it's certainly one of those games that you're going to second guess.
Yeah, it's not a I'm throwing 100 down on Arizona.
It's a good number. It's a good number for sure. I'll take the under reluctantly. I think the over could easily hit here.
So, fun fact, I did see a quick TikTok about Kyler Murray, and it was a really interesting comparison because word on the street is a big reason why he's got all these contract amendments is his love for video games. I love video games, especially Call of Duty, and so does Kyler Murray. The comparison that was made to Kyler Murray's game performance versus double XP weekends on Call of Duty was progressional. If there was a double XP weekend, Kyler Murray's performance was down. What do we have coming out this year? We have a brand new Call of Duty coming out in less than a month.
We don't have anybody better to speak on this than Bobby. This is great. Honestly, this is exactly the kind of in-depth analysis that you're looking for.
So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is coming out middle of September. This was just literally statistical analysis. It was any double XP weekend, any event that was happening in Call of Duty, Kyler Murray's QBR statistics were down. This guy plays a shitload of Call of Duty. So for that reason and that reason alone, I think the Cardinals are going to be under. I don't think Kyler Murray has a good year this year. I think his head's going to be somewhere else, even though in the press, he's saying all of the right things. I think he's going to fall back into bad habits, aka video games for him. When you're a multi-million-dollar starting quarterback in the NFL, you should fucking throw that thing against the wall and focus on your job. You can play all the video games you fucking want later, but that's my sole reasoning for the under here.
No hyperbole. This is the greatest stat poll I've ever heard.
That is S-tier analysis. Everything that you've
ever pulled out.
Everything that we've said up to this point right now is obsolete because what you just brought in supersedes it all. That was incredible.
I was like,
I can't. It's not my analysis. Somebody else did this analysis. I just watched the TikTok.
You pulled the stat.
It came across my FYP. But yeah, like statistically speaking, whenever things like this occur, his statistics.
Unless you're working at Elias Sports Bureau, someone else is taking something from someone else. Right. So don't feel bad about that. Yeah, that's just a great poll.
You put that on your For You page for everybody to
fuck that. Put it on your resume. Put it on your LinkedIn page.
No, when I saw it and like it fucking blew. I should have sent it to you guys.
I'm glad you didn't because this is the best place to hear that.
Right.
Yep.
No. I'm glad I could.
You got to save
prep you guys with some stats. It's not usually my place to do that, and I'm glad I could do that for you guys this evening. So
was that Bill James over
here? Ryan, you're welcome. That's all I gotta say. All right. So we are all three on the under for the Arizona Cardinals. Does anybody wish to lock that pick in?
Sounds like you do.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna lock it.
Let's go.
I can't go saying all that and then not lock it.
We just bullied Bob into a lock.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I was debating on locking it anyway, so it is locked. All right. Because I don't really like the other three anyway. Rams next. Defending Super Bowl champions. 10.5 games is the number. Aaron, over under.
You know what?
You're gonna take the over.
Bobby, you changed the rules. Me and Todd have gone first every single time. I want to hear your opinion first.
Okay. Perfect. No, that's completely fine with me. 10.5 games for the Rams, I think, is a little light. What's the line on this, by the way? What's the juice telling you?
Plus 105 for the over, minus 125 for the under.
Wow, so everybody's going for the under on this one. I disagree with the under there. I think this is over. I think Matt Stafford comes back and has just as good, if not better of a year. If that receiving core can stay healthy, I think Cooper Kupp's going to be in the running to be once again the best receiver in the NFL. I will say it again. I said at the beginning of last season. I will say at the beginning of this season. I think he's one of the most talented receivers in the NFL. And granted, that offense can stay healthy, which obviously is a huge question mark. It's the NFL; everybody gets hurt. This was going to be my other lock. If I didn't take the Cardinals, I was going to take the Rams over. I think the Rams win more than 10.5 games. I'm taking the Rams.
Okay. I'm going to take the under. I think 10 sounds perfect. I still think that puts them in a great position to still contend for the Super Bowl. I'm going to take a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover here. I'm also going to take a little bit of a recency bias, and I actually do think that Aaron Donald is going to get suspended to start the season, which I think will obviously impact that defense. Still a great defense. Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, there's tons of different guys on that defense as well. Cooper Kupp, fantastic. I'm still a little bit worried about Matt Stafford's injury coming into the season. I think it's been a little underreported. I'm not sure what to expect out of him coming into it. Matt Stafford, who has been a great quarterback his whole career, but finally got the monkey off of his back, maybe starts a little lackadaisical. Not to mention, again, we don't know what his suspension is going to be. Precedent set was season indefinitely with the Myles Garrett thing. That's not going to happen. We know that. And historically speaking, the NFL is a lot more lenient with practice violations than they are real game violations. Not to mention when Myles Garrett did the helmet toss was a primetime game.
Primetime, yeah.
But it's also 2022 and everyone is watching this. I don't think the NFL cannot act on it, is my whole point. But when you look at the start of their schedule, they start with the Bills. If you don't have Aaron Donald, maybe that's a loss. Then you go Falcons, Cardinals, 49ers, Cowboys, Panthers, 49ers again. So I don't know how big of a deal that will be, but I certainly think 6 games is, and Ryan is saying it in the chat, and I agree with him. I think 6 games is probably what's going to happen. Probably gets appealed down to 4. I'm just going to take the odds of the Super Bowl hangover, and also the fact that they're playing the AFC West, which again, we were talking about, Bobby, that's just going to be a phenomenal back and forth division wise. I can't believe we're getting that in 2022. I'm going to watch every single one of those games. I'm really excited about that. I'm just going to take the under, and it's not that I don't believe that the Rams can repeat. It's the fact that I think they're going to, it's kind of the same things I said with the Buccaneers. I think they're going to be a little bit underwhelming to start and finish strong. So they probably can get to 11 games, but I feel much more comfortable with a 10 wins team, in the NFC making the playoffs.
Yeah. Look, I think for me, the biggest concern is what's going to happen with Matt Stafford. I mean, there's a real legitimate chance he has to have Tommy John surgery, right? Like that's a thing that's kind of the gray cloud right now. It's not a black cloud yet because it's not set in stone, but I don't trust John Wolford being able to lead the Rams to 10 wins. And everything that I've read about Matt Stafford up to this point is that he is they're siding to the cautious side to kind of rest him, and he's not throwing the ball a lot. But here's the thing. For a quarterback, Tommy John is almost the same as being a closer in baseball, right? You're throwing the same amount of times in a football game, and you're having a similar motion, and your UCL here, that's prevalent to you being able to go 25 to 45 yards. And yeah, I think Aaron Donald, it's 6 appeal down to 4. The defense feels somewhat similar. You sub Bobby Wagner for Von Miller. Cam Akers is one of those guys that has the ability to be an incredible playmaker. and then you sub Allen Robinson for Robert Woods, and Allen Robinson's a guy that can catch the ball 10 to 15 times a game. He did it in Chicago for a few years. I still think that the Super Bowl hangover is real. It's very infrequent to see a team win a Super Bowl and come back and be super successful. So I take the under on this one as well.
Okay. Would either of you care to lock that in?
No.
Okay. Moving on to the Bay, the San Francisco 49ers. The only even game selection in this division. They are at 10 games. Todd, 49ers over under.
Here's my lock in the NFC West, boys, because this is an under in the NFC West.
Ooh.
This is an under. And I'm going to tell you why. I have zero confidence in Trey Lance.
Ooh, as well.
Zero. There is nothing that I've seen of him in an actual game versus film versus all this hype that tells me that he can be successful in the NFC West. I'm sheerly doing this based off of you're putting a young quarterback, and I don't want to take anything away from Debo, because I think Debo is one of those guys that's a really special talent in the NFL right now, and money tells you that he's a really special talent in the NFL. But I don't know. I don't trust Trey Lance to be able to be successful in the NFL yet. And that's not taken away from what San Francisco does on the defensive side of the ball, right? I mean, you're talking about a Bosa brother. You're talking about Eric Armstead. You're talking about a defense that has the ability to lock in a sub 14 a game kind of a talent. But I just don't know if Trey Lance has the juice in the NFL. The film is so limited, and even his time in the NFL is so limited that I can't take an over 10 on a team where you're bringing in basically a brand new quarterback. And I don't care that he knows the offense and he understands the offense. The NFL runs at such a fast tempo, and you can't just throw the ball to Deebo Samuel 30 times a game. And you can't just go, all right, Deebo to Kittle, and check that back and forth. He's going to have to figure it out. And I think there's growing pains up until week 10 or 11 for him for that. So that's why I take the under and I lock it in here.
Okay. Aaron.
Well, this is going to be one of those rare occasions. I'm also going to lock.
But you're going to take the over.
I'm going to take the over. So I hear everything you're saying, Todd. I'm not sure what Trey Lance can do. I'm not either. But what I am sure of is Kyle Shanahan gets the absolute most out of his quarterbacks. I've seen him take Brian Hoyer to a almost playoff run with the Cleveland Browns. I've seen him take Nick Mullins to have the most career passing yards outside of Patrick Mahomes through 8 games. I have seen Kyle Shanahan make NFL quarterbacks look like absolute G's. Jimmy Garoppolo getting to 2 NFC championships. What does Trey Lance have amongst all of those other guys?
Mobility.
He was fucking handpicked.
That's fair.
I am absolutely hammering the over here. It was before we changed the locks here, I almost wanted to take this as my over the Eagles. And I also hear what you're saying with Trey Lance. Trey Lance starts his season with the Bears and the Seahawks. That seems like a great way to get your NFL career started.
Yeah, you have good legs under that, right?
You got good legs. You go the Broncos, you go the Rams, and then you got the Panthers, and then you got the Falcons. Through 6 games, I don't see how they're not 4-2. The over here is just an absolute lock to me. There's so many other reasons. Kyle Shanahan just somehow finds a way, and I know fantasy people are gonna hate Kyle Shanahan because of what he does with the running back position, but he still finds a way to get the most out of it. It just frustrates the hell out of anybody who has any of those players because if you combine even just two of them, they're like a 1A and a 1B, but we just never know which week it's going to come from. Here's what I do know. Trey Lance is going to start every single fucking game. I am really high on Trey Lance this year. I think he is going to have I'm going to say this lightly, a Mahomes-like first accolade to the NFL. He got to sit his first year. He had great numbers. And I'm not talking about first. I am not talking about passing. I am talking about his impact on a game. I think he's going to somehow be between what you got out of Lamar Jackson when he first entered the league and Patrick Mahomes. I'm really, really, really high on Trey Lance this year.
That's still a heavy prediction, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was big on Trey Lance last year. I thought he was going to get in a lot sooner than he did. Obviously, Garoppolo, still didn't have a completely terrible season, but you saw when Trey Lance got in there that Deebo Samuel got better. And I think that that's going to be huge for the 49ers, especially, obviously, Samuel last year was healthy the whole year, which was phenomenal for me because I had him on my fantasy team. I'm also going to take the over here. I think the 49ers and Trey Lance have a phenomenal season. You hammer in the over. I'm saying they win at least 12.
Wow. That.
Holy shit. So what happened?
This was going to be my lock, but you guys talked me into the cards in my analysis there. So I'm really big on Trey Lance. I like Trey Lance. I think it's something that the 49ers haven't had in a long time, which is a mobile quarterback that has a solid arm. And he's got a great reputation with the best receiver in his receiving core. Which is Deebo Samuel. So, and obviously George Kittle's, he's no slouch there at number 2, even though he's the tight end. So
I think you have a big year too. I think Lance is going to go deep. I think Lance has a big enough arm. And I do want to clarify. I'm not saying that Trey Lance is going to fall between Lamar Jackson's and Patrick Mahomes. What I'm trying to say is his immediate impact on an offense.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes also sat his whole rookie year minus his last game. Trey Lance sat his whole year minus the last, 2 or 3, I think, something like that. I think he's going to have an immediate impact, and I think Kyle Shanahan just knows. I mean, look at all of the quarterbacks that he has gotten above their actual means out of. He handpicked Trey Lance.
Yeah. Yeah. Mel Kiper, huge upside.
Flip the hair back.
I hope you guys prove me wrong. I feel like we're watching the fucking right side up and upside down of Trey Lance. Like, I just don't see it. I don't see it. And
there's so much talent on that roster.
I'm not arguing the talent wise. I'm saying that I don't think Trey Lance has the actual ability to do it at all. I don't. And I would love to be proven wrong by statistics, right? Because that's what's going to drive me. But I don't
what is
see
your
it.
Opinion of Trey Lance against like Jalen Hurts last year?
That's great.
Like production.
I think they're kind of one and the same. I think I see Jalen Hurts and Trey Lance as being 2 garbage time quarterbacks. I don't think they make real time.
Wow. No. I agree with you. But what do you think Kyle Shanahan would have got out of Jalen Hurts last year?
All right. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I need it to be proven to me regardless. I need proof of it.
Aaron has a way of making it sound sexy, doesn't he?
I don't want to have this conversation until I see Trey Lance get into a game where it really matters. And then we can talk about it.
This is going to be the biggest one because you have a lock under and a lock over, and I'm really excited.
Oh yeah, this is the only game where we're split with a lock.
And it's ironic because it's me and Todd who agree on
the only
it.
team. So
I need stats. I can't talk about it until I get stats, and then we can talk about it some more.
All right,
we'll
boys.
take a first quarter year in review. I can't wait.
All right, we are 2 hours and almost 5 minutes deep.
Well, we can make this last one pretty quick. Y'all on the under?
We've got one team left. It is the Seattle Seahawks at 5.5. Over under.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a non-Pete Carroll podcast. We're taking the under here.
I'm taking the under.
Yeah. Fuck Pete Carroll. Fuck the Seahawks. They're gonna suck. Under 5.5.
Good riddance. Get the Egyptian bullshit 200-year-old Pete Carroll out of the NFL. I need him out of the NFL. I don't want him around it. I need him out. I hate him. He's
Great speech, Todd.
Because I'm just so indifferent, Pete Carroll, and you guys are so anti. And I don't like whatever. Fine.
Hate Pete Carroll.
I'm not pro Pete Carroll, but he's won a Super Bowl.
Hate you, Pete Carroll. Hate you.
You're right. He's won a Super Bowl, and he's also cheated his way into a national championship. Now, if he was coaching college football,
I don't give a shit about what he did in the past. You can't. That does not affect the NFL.
Sure, he also made the worst call and one of the worst calls in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not an NFL
and took no responsibility for it.
Yeah,
he took no responsibility for making the wrong call, and also, you can't fucking play Sweden as an NFL head coach. You can't just always sit in neutral. And you can't always just play this teeter-totter of being around the line and being the nice guy and being sometimes the mean guy. And Pete Carroll has this way of coming off as the nuclear dad where, like, he works his 9 to 5. He comes home with his lunch pail and his fucking, his book bag full of goodies. And I think that he is wasting a space for a guy that could actually make an impact as a coach in the NFL. That's just how I feel.
I agree. Pete Carroll aside, Drew Lock at the helm. I don't trust you to win.
Well, it's Geno Smith right now. Don't forget. Geno Smith is number 1 on the depth chart right now.
That's right. Okay, even so, Geno Smith, I don't trust you to win 6 games.
This is my pick for first overall.
I'm not going
to there's 3 teams. Atlanta, Seattle and Houston. These are the bottom feeders, right? Like,
I will say the one game that he came in last year when Russell Wilson dislocated his finger and he came in and he lit it up. We were all fucking hyped up about Geno Smith, and we're like, holy shit, Geno Smith can actually play some football.
Yeah, it was also a Thursday night, and all three, and me, you, and Corey also had like 10 to 12 beers by then.
But he might have a good game, but they're still going up against the AFC West.
It was still exciting. But regardless of the fact, like I think Geno Smith in spurts can be great, but what person that plays at that level, doesn't have the ability to have those spurts where they're amazing.
Yeah, and then if it's Drew Lock, he's like
Jeremy Lin was sinking game-winning shots. Where is he now? You know what I mean? Like he
won a championship with Toronto.
Yeah, no, he was riding high with the Knicks. He was a player. But I'm just saying, that's just a comparison. Like, he came in spurts and was great. Yeah, I'm not saying
that's one of the his 10-day entrance into the NBA is one of the best entrances to.
For sure, Linsanity. He went wild. Like everybody was on that train.
Todd, you'll
just save that for who the fuck it is. God damn it!
No, because that would have been too easy. You remember Greg Jennings?
Yes, of course I remember.
He was straight out. He went to Australia not right when they stopped you can come out. He was like, I'm not going to college. I'm going to go get paid.
Brandon Jennings.
5 in the Garden.
Yeah, Greg Jennings was the receiver for the Packers.
Brandon Jennings from the Bucks. Yeah. Undersized. We've had some.
The quick trigger lefty. Yeah, of course I remember Brandon Jennings. Went to Oak Hill Academy, goes to Australia, comes back. First
killer in Milwaukee.
First time in the Gardens, drops 38 or something ridiculous, and that was it. That was the notch in his career.
Right.
What an absolutely electric podcast, guys.
Dude, yeah, it was great.
This is fun.
I love I can't wait for the AFC.
Yeah.
It'll be. Here's the thing: we're going to have to figure it out because Corey's going to be involved in this more than likely next Thursday. And if there's, yeah, but it's going to be 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it'll be great.
It will be a long fuck. We might have to get on at 7:30, guys.
Yeah, but that'll be Labor Day week. Oh wait, next Thursday is what, the 1st?
Yeah.
Me and Corey are out. That's our college fantasy draft.
Uh-oh.
This is a Wednesday nighter.
Let's go.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right,
We'll hold it down next week.
Chat, we appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us for a little bit of an extended show this evening. A lot of fun. We will post the results here once we get Corey's picks in, and then obviously next week we're going to move on to the AFC. We hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. We will catch you guys next Wednesday for the AFC show. Until then, have a wonderful evening.